Audi TT Mark 1. How to replace the turbo downpipe. Welcome back, guys. So in this video we are in the TT again, and unfortunately we have a hole in the exhaust, so this video we're going to fix that. So you will need one of these 17mm half moon shaped spanners, and when we take out the induction pipe, it's a fit in behind the back of the engine. I have tried it with ordinary spanners, it just doesn't work. You will need a 17mm half moon spanner like this. Okay, so the first job is I took off the engine cover. Now we're getting ready to take off the intercooler pipe, and then we'll be able to get down to the nuts and bolts that hold on the downpipe onto the turbo. So up here at the top of the engine, go on top, go all the way down here. That nut there has to be removed as well. Next, the lambda sensor plug has to be removed. It's located underneath the strut bar. So this bracket lives way off in here on those two nuts down there, and this is located in between these two. So normally you should be able to just pop it straight up. My one was super stuck, so I end up undoing the nuts here, the nuts over there, and then there's a little bracket just there and one on the far side. And that actually made all of this come up nice and loose, and then I could get this out and then flick it out. I don't know why mine was stuck, but probably over 25 years or 23 years it probably got stuck anyway. So now it's removed. Now we can work on the downpipe. Okay, now let's go down underneath the car. Okay, so we're going to take down the K-frame. To do that, we're going to take off the wheels. Then we're going to do the three nuts here that hold on the bottom ball joint. We're going to take off the anti-roll bar nut here. Then we're going to come into the center, take off the dog bone, so these two here. Then we're going to take off the steering rack. So 1, 2, 3, 4 for the steering rack. You can just undo them and just leave it alone. And moving to the back of the K-frame, there is one bolt here that hold on the support bracket that holds on the exhaust. And of course, don't forget to undo the nut. This holds on the little bracket that adjusts the height of your headlights. So that's how you attach to your wishbone, so don't forget to undo that as well. And the other thing I did was take a measurement from here to the top of this tread just here. I think it was 17.5mm. So when you are putting your tracking back, you'll know how much to put it back in, so you know your camber. Then underneath here, we're going to get a brace and then take off 1, 2, 3, and there's a fourth one up there somewhere. There it is, 4. And then when all of that is done, but we've braced it, then we can slowly bring this down, and the K-frame with the wishbones or the subframe will all come down. The engine won't fall down because it's actually supported by the chassis legs. Now I'm getting ready to take down the subframe. Next we undo the drive shaft. So there is 6 bolts that hold on the drive shaft and 3 nuts that hold on this heat shield. This heat shield sits back here, and you can see by removing it you have way more room and way more access and even visual sight to undo the 2 nuts here that hold on the downpipe. Okay, so the next thing in the way is the steering rack. So what we're going to do is drop down the steering rack, which will give us loads more room to get the exhaust pipe out, and to that we're going to actually jack up the steering rack. That'll take all the weight off it, and then I'll be able to nut up here inside the cab underneath the steering wheel, and then the whole steering rack, using the jack, we can slowly lower it down. Next, the kick tray is removed. 1 screw there, 1 screw there, and there is a 13mm nut just there, or bolt, and that has to be removed next. Yeah, just looking at those nuts and bolts on the cats, I don't think they're going to even come off. So I think I'm just going to disconnect it down here. And that's the exhaust pipe out. Okay, that's it now, finally out. So while doing all of this work, there was a part of me going, but what happens if there's not a hole in the exhaust? Like, you're doing all this work, what happens if there's no hole in the exhaust? So I started looking at it, and I don't see a hole in the exhaust. Like, it is really good metal that's in it. Even back here, everything all the way back, everything's perfect. The cats are still there, like there's nothing. There's no holes in it. And I was like, damn, did I just do all this work for nothing? And then I picked it up and look at that. So the flex joint, it has failed the whole way around nearly. So I think probably this side here, where it's carbon on it, that's probably where it had actually failed. And then as I was taking it out, it probably just failed it a bit more, but it was on its way out anyway. So yeah, look at that. So thankfully, I must be the only person in history that was actually happy to see a crack in their exhaust pipe, because yeah, to be honest, I said, doing all this work going, it better be this, it better have a hole in the exhaust. Look at it going, it's perfect, where's the hole? So yeah, there it is, look. Though I was expecting an actual hole in the metal, but okay, the flex joint failed, so the flex joint just failed. Right, so what am I going to do about it? Well, bought a brand new one. So I bought this second hand, but it's actually brand new, it's never been used. There's never been carbon in the pipe, and I got 3 gaskets, all brand new. So to the seller, thank you very much. I'm looking at these joints here, and flicking around here. There's no nut really left, to be honest. Like, maybe up here where it's okay, but this one here and the one on the far side, they're rust away to nothing. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is just cut it off. Okay, now it's finally off. Okay, let's just have a better look at them. Right, yeah. So you can see there's literally nothing left of those ones there, the 2 at the bottom. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably try to hit them with a hammer, try to knock them out, and if not, we'll have to get the oxyacetylene and just warm them up and then try to walk them back out. It's actually probably blowing out there as well. So just while I'm doing this job. Okay, so with some gentle heat, heated it all up, heated the back as well, so it got the heat going through both sides, and then was able to just tap it back. The reason why you're not able to tap it back is because it's splined, so once it goes in there, it is tight. It's not like it's just an ordinary nut that can just freewheel inside the housing. You have to hit it straight back. That's 1 out, only 5 more to go. Aha! Great success! So the last stud, you can see it's still glowing in there, and I got all 6 of them out. This is the first one I removed, which actually came out the best. You can see, oh, it's warm. So you can see there's splines there on the left hand side, and then there's threads on the rest. So that would have been pushed in from this side. So from the back side, it would have been pushed in, and those splines would lock it in place, and then you just have to put a nut onto it and tighten it up. But obviously, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to get nuts and bolts. I actually don't know how they did this one. I know obviously how they did the rest of them, because you just push them in. So yeah, that's it now, all removed. So I ended up using the oxyacetylene, hit the shite out of them, and then hit them with a hammer backwards, and they came out. Okay, let's do a progress report. So the cats and the downpipe were removed from the TT as one piece. The nuts were then cut off with an angle grinder. The reason why, I could not get a spanner onto them because they'd rusted so badly. So after cutting them, I was able to split the cat from the downpipe. Then I was left with a load of studs sticking out. You can't just drill them out or tap them out because they're so stuck in there. So what I ended up doing was just heating them with the gas and then hitting them back out because they're splined, so they don't actually twist. So once they're out, I was left with 6 holes. Next was the heat covers. Mine always rattled because the nuts and bolts had actually rusted away to nothing. So I have 3 new nuts and studs there, and there's 5 I think on this side. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these 2 were okay. These ones here were so bad they weren't going to go back in, so they were removed and just ordinary nuts and bolts were put back in and then tightened home. This one here in the middle, I got a nut and then welded a little bar onto the side of it and then held it in with a zip tie while I twisted it tight. Once the thread had caught, it started to spin. The little bar that I welded onto it hit the little L bracket, and that locked it in place. So then I was just able to twist it in, and the nut wasn't going to move. If I ever need to undo it, I can twist the opposite way and it'll hit the L bracket on the opposite side. So that's a little trick there to keep that nut in if you can't get to it. So now that this is pretty much ready to go, last thing to do on the old downpipe that has the big giant rip in it was take off the lambda sensor or oxygen sensor. So that was removed. It's a 22mm spanner, just a little bit of heat. Just put the flame into the downpipe and around the top. It expanded the metal enough just to make it easier to remove. Probably a heat gun would have done the same thing. I'm not putting it onto this one until it's in the car, because I know when I'm pushing all of this up into the car, I'll probably damage it or it'll get in the way. So it's better off not to put the oxygen sensor on just yet. Next thing is to join these 6 holes onto these ones using nuts and bolts. The nuts and bolts I got, they had this kind of splined or grippy thing at the side, and they'll be going in from this side, because obviously I can't get the nut and bolt to come in this side on these ones inside. The gaskets are here, so I'll be using the gaskets on this side and this side to join them together. Brand new gaskets, obviously. Let's bolt this onto this using the gaskets in between, and then we're getting ready to install all of this assembly then back up into the car. Okay, now in all of its beauty, it's back together, so it's all bolted up. We're going to have the hanger for the exhaust back onto it. I have the lambda sensor onto it. I think I'm just going to try and shove it up. If not, I will have to take it off and then put it on inside the car, but I'm going to try to shove it up the way it is. And just looking at it, it is an upgraded downpipe. So this here is 3 inches. Now the other one is 3 inches here, but the other one then tapers off, gets smaller through here, down to here. You can kind of see it there. So you can see, well, maybe you can't, but it is tapered, and then it's narrower here, and it's narrow again, and then it goes into the pipes. Where this one, obviously you can see it's 3 inches all the way back, 3 inches into the turn, 3-inch flex joint, 3 inch coming out here, and then it divides off into the 2 branches. So just after putting calipers onto it, this is 50mm across, and the other one is like 48, so it's probably just a bit of steel if the difference, but it does make sense that these would be the same, because they have to come down here. This flange here has to go into your cats, so it has to be the same diameter anyway. So it's upgraded, so let's now get ready to install this into the car. And just something else that's after catching my attention. So the exhaust pipe here had failed anyway. There was blow-by coming out here. So just well, I've now upgraded everything with new gaskets and everything. So they're all nice and tight. So now let's get this into the car. Old gasket out, new gasket in. Okay, so I have the top of it just there sitting on the treads. I have it supported just there on the coupling. I'm give it a shove. Okay, it's on, it's on, it's on. Okay, I had to take off the lambda sensor, it just would not fit in. So now I'm going to try to get the lambda sensor on for the top, or do something, somehow I'm going to get it on and then tighten up the nuts and bolts. Okay, so from on top, you can get a spanner down there and tighten it up. So that's the lambda sensor now in. Okay, next, those 2 bolts way off up there and one on the top. And up here at the top, not sure you're going to even see it. There's a nut just there. That's now the 3 bolts holding on the turbo downpipe installed. So now it's only a matter of undoing everything I've already taken off, and that's the job complete. Here we have the subframe. It's just after being painted in black hammerite paint. So once that's dry, I can then reinstall it back into the car. And just like that, we have the exhaust and the subframe all back installed, all ready to go again. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks very much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe over there, and as always guys, see you later.